Hey guys, welcome back to my wedding series. Sorry for the radio silence. I have been on holiday, on and off. I went to Miami, Puerto Rico, then I went to Spain, come back and I've been really unwell. And then me and my husband have just opened up our chicken shop. Well, we've had it for 5 years, but we've reopened and rebranded and stuff. So we've been so busy that I have not even had the chance to sit down and record this video, despite having everything ready. So I'm very sorry, but I hope you've watched episode 1 and 2 and you're ready for episode 3. So today's episode is going to be about photography, videography and DJs all in one. This is a really important episode, and I say that because this can make and break your wedding. I know food is obviously a very important key part for Tamil weddings, especially because Tamil people love their food and that's the first thing that they complain about. But DJs for receptions and Hindu weddings especially, they actually play a pivotal part. And obviously, as you know, photography and videography is the main thing, because if they get your pictures and videos wrong, it's just downhill from there, isn't it? So let's start. So obviously episode 2 is all about menus. So the third thing that you should do is look for photography and videography, and you want to make sure you prioritize that. There are so many options now. I mean, every other day I'm getting a new follow from a new photography page or a new videography page. There's so many people out there. So honestly, this really depends on personal preference. Ask for previous work. That's so important. A lot of people do have websites. Instagram feeds now are like a showcase of their portfolio. You know, look at tagged. Ask your friends and family. This is key, guys, because hardly any videographers and photographers have like a review page, like a Google review page. And if they're bad, you don't tend to leave a review because, to be honest, by the time you receive your work, you just can't be bothered to go through putting a bad review. It's just, you just want to cut this person off and move on with your life, right? So bad reviews is very hard to see, and obviously that will affect your choice because, for example, for myself, we went for a particular videography and photography company meshed into one, which I do regret, and I will speak about that later. Because we went with one person, they didn't have any bad reviews at all. But only 1 month before our wedding, we started finding out all these things about this particular company, and we were like, crap, like it's too late now to pull out. So we had to go with this person, and then it was a nightmare, and we are still waiting for some of our footage, which I don't even think we'll get at this point. It's been 3 years since I've been married, yeah? So trust me, asking around is pivotal. It's key. Like, do not forget to ask around. If you've got somewhat of an audience on Instagram, put a poll in your story, ask for recommendations. People are willing to help if you ask for help. But asking for previous work is definitely, you have to. Because some people are starting up, and yeah, their prices and packages may be amazing because they're just starting up and they're looking for work, but their work might not be what you want. Everyone likes different style of videography. There's cinematic, there's natural, there's editorial pictures. There's so many different categories, and it really depends on what you like. I would start off with creating a mood board. Again, mood boards are gonna be the thing that saves you here. Do a mood board of all the kind of styles that you like, so then when you are speaking to a vendor, you've got this to show. You can say, this is the kind of style that I like. Is this what you do? They'll be honest, they'll say yes or no, etc. Move on to the next person. Do not believe social media. Some people's videos are amazing on social media. I know I did say look at Instagram and websites, but that's why you've got to ask your friends and family, because social media is not reality. I mean, people just put whatever up on there, but you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Like I said before, I used to think going for one company that does photography and videography was the best thing. Sometimes it is. I'll name drop a few, like Eternal Weddings. They do both photo and videography very well. Black Magic Creations, they do video and photography very well, but they're very, very expensive, and I mean 20k onwards expensive. So unless you've got the money for that, I'll put it in the description box below. There are some companies that really, really do it well, but there are companies that don't do it well. So if you can spend a little bit more, do separate vendors, because if one vendor messes up, you've got another one there that is going to be good. If you just go for one company and they mess up everything, what are you supposed to do? A lot of people now are getting one photographer and then a second photographer. They're getting a range of photos. They're getting different styles. And the more photos you have, the better. You've got more to look back on. Photos and videos are the things that you're gonna look back on, and videography especially as well. So these are things that, even if it's expensive, just do it. Put your budget more into that, because trust me, you don't want to regret it. Negotiating. So when you find the vendor that you like, ask them what they include. Half the time, photographers, videographers, mainly photographers, they will throw in a pre-shoot if they can. And or any other pre-wedding events, like if you're doing a mendi, I know haldi is a new thing, sangeet is a new thing, ponnadokal, pal ceremony even, because some people are doing that on a different day now. It's not even on the same day as a wedding, which I'm thinking is great for the men because they get to have a line on the wedding, isn't it? But yeah, you might want to think about all those things that you want to shoot. There's like homecoming, there's so many events, so try and negotiate as much as you can to get more coverage of every event that you're doing, and find out who they would send to your event. So a lot of the companies that you go for, there is a particular face behind the brand, and you know that this is the main person of this company. Find out if they're actually going to turn up to your events, because even for myself, I went for a particular company and this person was the face of the brand, and I told him specifically when I was booking him, I'm booking your company for you, so you better make sure you're at every event. And he didn't turn up to my church wedding and reception because it was a few days before his wedding, which is not my problem. But even though I got it in writing, he still didn't come. So you really have to, you know, not fight for it, but push for it. Make sure that whoever's the face of the brand does come to your events if that's why you're booking this particular company, because otherwise they'll just send their team and they won't turn up themselves, and you might not even know the team, you don't even know if they're good. So all these things you need to think about. A big thing here, guys, if you are feeling unsure about this company that you've booked for your photos or videos or whatever it is, please follow your gut instinct. I had a gut instinct and I didn't follow it because I was like, it's so close to my wedding, I don't want to mess this up. But if I had gone through with that gut instinct, everything else that followed wouldn't have happened to me. So definitely follow your gut instinct, and if it is telling you do not go with this person, find someone else, because that is the one thing you cannot compromise on: photo and videography. And trust me, I know this first-hand experience. If you want to know what happened to me, I can make a separate video on that, or a YouTube short, or whatever it is you want, because trust me, what happened to me, I don't want to happen to anyone else, which is why I'm doing this wedding series as well, to make sure that when you guys watch this, you know exactly what to ask for and what to avoid, what's a red flag, like these kind of things you need to make note of, because trust me, it can make or break your wedding. With the team that is getting sent on your wedding day, find out how many cameramen, how many videographers they're sending. Usually for a Hindu wedding, depending on the size, if it's a big wedding, they will send about 2 cameramen, 2 videographers. 1 cameraman, 1 videographer will go to the groom's house, 1 cameraman and 1 videographer will go to the bride's house. So make sure, this is another thing, photography, like both, to be honest, photography and videography, right? I will tell you now. Usually they come early and they will check your house. Is there a plain background? Is there something that I can work with? I totally left that for the photographer and videographers because I thought that's their job, but clearly it wasn't. Because please tell me why I have TV wires and lamps and things, this, that and the other in the back of my photos. It looks horrible because they didn't put in the effort. They came early, but they still didn't do anything, like to check the house or the garden, wherever they could shoot. A good photographer and a good videographer will go everywhere around the house, back garden, front yard, wherever it is, find if there's a local park to take pictures, to see where they can use the best backdrop for these photos. So make sure, if there isn't anywhere that is a plain background in your house, because you've got a small house, etc., things like that, make sure you find something. A lot of brides now I'm seeing now are just literally picking a corner of their house and setting it up beautifully with candles, kuttavalakas, jewelry sets and things like that. Like, just when you do your mood board, maybe find pictures of stuff like that so you know exactly how your setup is going to look like on the day of your wedding pictures. If not, do you have a local park? Great. Tell the photographer, videographer, look, I've got a local park there, pictures will look better there, let's go there. tell them these things. A good videographer, photographer, you won't need to tell them these things. But trust me, in this day and age, you cannot leave everything up to them. You need to actually have control of this. I have a local park. Wish I said that to my videographer and photographers. But I never thought about that because I just left everything to them. And that's one of my main regrets. So do not be like me. Pre-plan and make sure you have all these things ready. I do want to mention with photographers, you will notice if they are trying to get to know you and how much of a difference it makes. With Eternal Weddings, I think they have this form when you inquire with them and they go into detail, like how did you meet, you know, what's your personalities and things like that. And you can see they're really trying to get to know you so that they can capture that in their photos. A lot of people do go for different photographers for the Hindu wedding and then something else for the church wedding. I have noticed a lot now with Tamil Hindu weddings, they go for a Tamil photographer who knows the pose shots, you know, the kind of like cliche Hindu wedding pictures that you need as part of your photos, because, you know, that's what you're supposed to take. But then for church weddings or civils, people actually are hiring white photographers because they are obviously specialised in that. You know, they've shot so many white weddings, they're white themselves, they know exactly what to take, and their photos are so good. And obviously, like on your wedding day, you want to kiss your husband. A lot of Tamil photographers don't like that. They're like, oh, that's not nice. But of course it's nice because you're supposed to kiss your husband on your wedding day. And, you know, you won't get that with the white photographers because they'll be like, yeah, kiss your wife, kiss your husband, like, it's all cool. And so if you want those kind of photos, like, make sure you go with a white photographer for this civil or church, because you will see the difference in your photos that, okay, actually for the Tamil wedding, the Tamil photographers, they did amazing, but maybe they won't do as good for the civil and church. I wish I did do that, because I think the photos that we would have had, it might have suited our vibe a bit more, especially with my husband who is so PDA. So yeah, definitely think about that. That's something that you can have. For reception, a lot of people don't even have video anymore, it's just photos. So just think about all these little details on, do you actually want everything shot on video, or you're alright with just photos? Obviously for the Tamil Hindu wedding, you need everything shot. So, you know, think about these things because they are going to be things that you can do differently. You don't have to copy everybody, right? It's all about you and what you want in terms of personal preference. Now I'm going to move on to DJ. DJs are so important. So for Hindu weddings, a lot of people think, oh, but they're just doing like the entrance songs and things like that. No, guys, they bring so much more to the table. So for example, they bring lighting, they bring sound. If you're having a live band like a Nadaswaram, usually it's like what, 2 Nadaswarams, Midangam, and like you've got about at least 4 or 5 people on the stage. They all need mics. Who brings them? DJ. Lighting. Decor sometimes brings that, but mainly it's the DJ. And also it depends on what's your vibe. So with the DJ, I find for example that having one DJ for your weddings and receptions is just going to make your life easier. This is where I would go with the same DJ. I know a lot of people don't, and that's perfectly fine, it's up to you. But personally, I just think it's better. They'll give you a better deal. There's more of a package, because and also like you form a nice relationship with this person, right? He's there for all your events or she's there for all your events. So it's kind of nice to have the same person because you build that nice relationship and you're like, oh, you're back. Like, you know, it's quite nice. And then you can recommend them if you really like them to other people. So for us, we use Nibble from Elegant Entertainers, and my sister then used him. We've recommended him to so many people because he's just a lovely guy, such a sound guy, and his vibe matches our vibe. He's got great music taste, he gets the crowd going, and he's all purely through word of mouth. Like, he uses social media but not too much, and I prefer that. Like, somebody that's word of mouth, you know that they're good because they're getting the recommendations through word of mouth and you're not just seeing them on social media and decided, I'm going to book you. That's one thing. Obviously it's personal preference, but what's your vibe? So with the DJs, they do mostly accommodate requests. For Tamil weddings, I think it makes more sense to go for a Tamil DJ because they know exactly what's appropriate to play. Please pick someone to liaise with him, okay? Not part of the wedding party, not your bridesmaids, not your mum, not your dad, not your sister. Pick someone else. At my sister's wedding, we picked my cousin Priya from Canada because she's outgoing and bubbly and she will just tell you, shut up, sit down. And we love her for that. We love her for her outgoing personality. Love you, Priya. But it worked because she was always there with the DJ. She was telling them, okay, they're about to make their entrance, make sure you play this song or make sure you play that song. And that's how we had such a good workflow, and it worked really well. So please do not ask your bridesmaids, because they're going to be running around trying to prep what's next, the thali time. They're going to be giving out the katkandan, things like that, or the petals. So they're not going to be able to, you know, juggle the DJ and all of these things happening as well. So make sure you delegate someone that's not part of the party but you're close to. So some DJs do have Google reviews. Obviously you need to like the music that he plays in general for weddings, and obviously mainly for reception, because DJs are what's going to bring the vibe to your party. If the DJ's rubbish, trust me, the guests are going to say it and you're going to feel it. Like, if you love to party, DJ is key. So make sure you like the music, check the Google reviews, check maybe Instagram, see what they've put in their highlights, previous music that they've played. You'll be able to tell from the audience if they're jumping around and like they're raving, then you know, okay, it's a good party. If they're just sitting down, then you know it wasn't that great. So just have a look at all these things. Obviously, budget-wise, ones that have been in the industry for a long time, DJs, they will charge more because they have that experience and they're well-known. You know, people know their name, they're more reputable. But obviously, you do know then you're going to get bang for your buck, because these are people that are going to actually do really well on the day. There are a lot of DJ companies that have just started out as well, though. Like, some of my friends are DJs. You know, there's so many. I'll drop it in the comments below. And they're all really good DJs. You know, they've got a few years experience. They obviously don't have as many years experience as the other DJs that have been around for maybe 20, 30 years, but they're still very good. And their prices might be a bit cheaper, whereas when they're still trying to, you know, get exposure. So if you do like those kind of music as well, those kind of DJs, then you should definitely check them out. I mean, TikTok is a great source for like tips in general. If you do follow me on TikTok, then you know that I've posted stuff like this, wedding tips, before. So definitely check that out. And check TikTok for recommendations in general, as well as Instagram. I know obviously this series is for Hindu wedding, but I'm going to go into reception just because DJ does cover both. So reception, you need to find out from your DJ what else does he provide you with, because DJs for reception don't just provide you with sound, lighting, music and mics. They can actually provide you with a lot more things, like the dance floor, the LED screens that are on the back where it shows your videos and your highlight videos and your photos and things like that running throughout the reception time. Or if you have a presentation, slideshow during your speeches, that's all on the LED screen. That can actually come through the DJ itself, because they work with vendors, and you can get a better price that way. So, you know, ask for the dance floor. Sometimes, I mean, my DJ Nimble, he actually did a personalized logo. He did spell my name wrong, and I did call him out on that on the day, going, you didn't even check how to spell my name properly, but it was fine. But yeah, he did a personalized logo for us, so that might be something that you want, really. There's smoke machines as well. There's dry ice, because some people in their first dance, they like that stuff. People are even doing that for the Hindu weddings now, smoke machines, as they do their entrance down the aisle. I think it looks sick, and I wish I thought of that as well. But yeah, these are things that DJs can provide. So make sure you make a list of all the things that you want. Really think outside the box here. Ask the DJs, can they help you supply you with this backdrop as well. I was actually provided us with the door player for our reception, and it was the door player that played for Punjabi MC on tour, and I was gassed. I mean, can you imagine the vibes? And also knowing that you've got such a sick door player that is like well known, like has been touring with Punjabi MC. So yeah, it was such a good vibe, and everyone loved the door player. I mean, door player just adds a bit of that culture and a bit of flavor. Like when you're dancing, like that extra beat just hits right. So yeah, I mean, if you would like to go for Nimble Elegant Entertainers, please drop my name and just say that you've come through me. I'm more than happy to help, and he will definitely look after you if he's the kind of music or vibe that you like in general. Obviously, everything that I've mentioned with the reception are all add-ons, but it's an option for you to have. It definitely depends on what you'd want. I mean, some people have really small receptions and they don't like all these big faff and things like that. That's perfectly up to you. But I think once you've got a mood board and you really do your research and just check vendors, then it will help, because you'll know exactly what you want and what vision you have for the day itself. So yeah, I think that's mainly my tips for photo, video and DJ. If you have got married already, or you're in the wedding planning process and you've come across more tips and found out things that you've learnt along the way, do drop it in the comments below. Like I said, this is to help future brides and grooms. So if there's anything that I've left out, please do mention it below. I think, to be honest, meeting up with every single vendor that you have over a coffee, and you know, really like building a relationship with them really helps. And that way they can actually learn more about you as well. I find that photographers that shoot all your events, you can see in their photos, like if you've really like sat down and built a relationship, you can see that in your photos, because they know exactly, you know, how you are as a couple, what your vibe is. You know, if you're very bubbly, your photos will have that same theme. But if they don't really know you, for example, I hired a photographer for just one of my events, my church wedding and reception, when I realized that my photographers were not good. And her photos are known to be amazing. She's a very like popular photographer, but unfortunately, because I'd booked only for one event, you could see that she didn't really know me and my husband. And you know, all of our photos are posed, but that's not us at all. We're very like open, bubbly people, and you can see that for other events where she's done all their events, you can see that she's really captured their personalities, and unfortunately just she didn't capture ours. Not saying that our photos aren't great, but it's just not us. So I would say it's really important, you know, get to know your vendors, have multiple phone calls, meet up in person. Sometimes they can show you their work in their portfolio in person as well, and you can discuss that. Oh, I like this and I like that. I don't like that, etc. So I think it's really important that you do that with every vendor, because I think the reason why like certain vendors of ours we got along with is because we met them up in person. But obviously we had COVID on our side, so we weren't able to do that properly. But in 2024, where that's no longer a problem, definitely do meet up with your vendors if you have the time, or even just do Zoom. You just really want to get to know them, because they're a part of your day, and where you've been dreaming about this wedding day for so many years or however long it is, and it's such a big thing, you don't want anything to go wrong. So if you can, like, just try and avoid these things. Like, really just try to meet up and, you know, make notes before the meeting. When you go in, you're more prepared, and things like that. It will really help. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was useful. I tried to put in everything that I remembered about my wedding and what I was looking for with photos and videos and things like that. Hopefully I covered everything. And yeah, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this with anyone that you think would find this useful. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video, and hopefully it won't be too long. And I apologize for the radio silence again. But thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye.